Okay, so this video is going to be both a DNF for 2019 and a TBR for 2020, um, because I don't really properly DNF. Um, Basically, these are books that I didn't finish within the year of 2019, but that I still intend to finish, and so now I'm moving them on to um, a TBR for 2020. And then I also have 5 other books from my bookshelf that I want to read at some point this year, because I would like to get through all of the books that I have on there, um, and not just own a bunch of books that I've never read. So I'm going to start with the physical DNFs. Those are these 5 books down to here, and then I will go through the DNFs that I do not um, own or I don't own physically, um, and then I will go through these 5 books. So we're just going to go down the list. So the first book is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I started this, I think, like October. I am currently on chapter 2. I'm about 18 pages in. I've been enjoying it. It's just yeah, I started in October, and it got put on the back burner for November, both for NaNoWriMo and for the Believe in Magic Readathon, and I just haven't gotten back to it yet. But I will. I'm gonna do it. It's due on the 10th, but I can probably renew it some more, but I should maybe finish it before the 10th. Next, I have Henny and Her Boat, Righteousness and Resistance in Nazi-Occupied Denmark by Howard S. Weiss. This is a book that I started, I think actually August. I started it after a family vacation to, oh god, to, like, this harbor in, I think Connecticut? Mystic Seaport. That's it. I went to Mystic Seaport. We got to look at the ships. We got to go on the ships. And then they had a little gift shop with this book in it. And actually, we went on a little like tour cruise thing. And the tour guide talked about this. It's like a small, a very, very small boat. I know that. It's real tiny. It does not say what kind of boat it was. I think it's like just a small fishing boat. Like you can see here, it's not a big boat. Um, but it was a boat that Henny Sinding was able to use to smuggle a large number of Jewish people out of Denmark and to Sweden, essentially saving their lives. And so it's really, really interesting. I really love history. I don't read a lot of like World War II history because I'm not really into like the wars and battles and all of that. And so with this, I am on chapter 4, about 22 pages in. So this is pretty low on the list because I actually own it, and like I want to read it, but it's not like something that I am absolutely dying to read. So next I have Laughing at My Nightmare by Shane Burkoff, which is about a man. It's like a memoir, like a autobiography about a man with, I think he has muscular atrophy or something like that. Um, he is a disabled man who uses a power chair and requires a lot of assistance for tasks of daily living. Um, and it's just him talking about his life and what that's like, and you know. And I am on chapter 2. I'm about 11 pages in, and this doesn't have an actual bookmark in it, so let's go and put that in there. Okay, and next I have The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics by Olivia Waite. I'm going with Waite. And so this is, I got this in November, in the middle of November, because I realized when I was writing my book for NaNoWriMo that I hadn't actually read a lot of like romance novels about two women together. I'd like read books in other genres that included like a romance plot between two women, but never like a proper like romance novel that was about two women. And so I just went to the library and I found a singular book at my local library. This is probably the one that I'm going to finish first in 2020. I am currently on chapter 10, about 187 pages in. So, this is probably where most of my focus is going to be going, just because I need some good gay shit sometimes. And now is that time. And here is that gay shit. Lastly, for the books that I currently have physically, I have The House at Pooh Corner, which by A.A. Milne. I started this for the Believe in Magic readathon, but was unable to finish it before November. I have actually made some progress since then. I'm currently on chapter 5, about 74 pages in. Though really it's like story 5, because this is essentially just, a collection of short stories about Winnie the Pooh and his friends in the 100-Acre Woods. So, I'm doing quite well on this. I'm not really sure when I'm going to get to the rest of it, but I do have some time on this because it is actually a book that I own. So, okay. And so now for the books that I do not currently have physically. So the most recent book that I started, like an idiot, on the 31st instead of just waiting for the 1st, I started Eru Shah and the Song of Death by Roshani Chokshi, which is the second book in the Pandava Quintet. I started the audiobook of it. I have it on Audible. And so I'm enjoying that. I'm not very far into it. I think I'm about like 3 chapters, like 3 rather short chapters. I got like an hour to listen to it in the car. Or not even an hour, probably more like 40 minutes. But yes. So, I'm gonna try and, that right now is like my audiobook that I'm working on. And then the next one that I have is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. I picked this up on Libby, and right before everything went down. And so, I have decided to take a break from it. So I've just gotten to the part where Harry's in Diagon Alley. I know there's a readathon going on, though that's for virgins, but I might join in with everyone else reading it, even though I've read through the entire series multiple times before. and in my reading, like, support that at the very least, so that, because I know that the organizer is, getting involved with, like, you know, donations for the readathon, because she was about to announce it when that happened. So, the next one is Nana Volume 1, which I am about halfway through, but it has been returned to the library, so I'm going to have to pick that up again and go through it. I've been enjoying it, you know. I just, that was one of the books that I was not able to finish during my 24-hour manga readathon, and then I just never got back to it, and then it became overdue, and so I had to return it to the library, and so I'm going to check that out again, basically just whenever the inspiration strikes me to finish it. Yeah. Oh, that's by Aizawa. I don't think I said that. Not by Aizawa. Ayazawa. So the next one is The Sisters of the Winter Wood by Rainer Rosner. I can't remember how far I got into that, but it's one of those that got returned automatically by Libby, and then it's like an audiobook that I got from Libby. And I hit a reading slump, and then it got returned, and so now it's essentially in the same category as Nana, and then this next book is also in that same category, actually, where when the inspiration strikes me to read it, I will check it out again. I just don't want to tie up books that I'm just going to sit on, so. And then the next one is The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. I got this on audio CD from the library, and I think it was about halfway through, yeah, and then I couldn't renew it anymore, so I had to return it, and so I need to see if at some point I can pick that up again. And then I also have Layer of Dreams, which is the second book in the Diviners quartet. I think it's a quartet. According to Goodreads, there's 4 of them, so at the very least, it's a quartet. I started this on, I have the Audible audiobook. I got the first series years and years ago. It's one of, like, the first books that I ever got on, I think it was actually my trial book for Audible, like, back when I was, like, 18, 19, so, like, 4 or 5 years ago, and then I finally finished, that one took me forever, and so now this one is also taking me forever. I like the characters, I want to enjoy it, but I just haven't been wanting to listen to it. And so I think that at some point I'm probably going to force myself to listen to more of that. I might, like, put it in, like, a 24-hour readathon or something if I end up doing, like, a 24-hour readathon or something like that where it would fit. Because if I do another manga 24-hour readathon, that's not really going to fit. I like it. We're dealing with, right now where I am, it's very focused on Henry and his, like, backstory and what's going on with him, and also his interactions with, and then also with Ling, like his interactions with Ling in the dream, the point of it, like, the mystery has to do with dreams, and they're both, they both have, supernatural talents that have to do with dream walking and walking through dreams. So, I have a feeling this one's going to be very focused on the two of them, both from what I have read so far and just from the general idea of it. Yeah. I'm gonna get to it eventually. I just need to, I think I just need to, like, force myself over that, like, initial hump, that you sometimes have with books, and I just have to get it done. And then, next I have, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, which is a book that I started on audiobook on Libby, and then got returned, and I just haven't felt the inspiration to, check it out again. I wouldn't say I didn't like it, but nothing about it really hooked me in. Like, there was nothing about it that, like, with the Layer of Dreams, where, like, with the Layer of Dreams, I'm very invested in these characters, so even though I'm struggling through it, I do want to force myself to read more of it, because I know that once I get over that initial hump, I'll love it. I have a feeling that might be what The Goldfinch is gonna be, because I know a lot of people like Donna Tartt. But I don't really have a connection to any of the characters or to any, like, people who love the book, unfortunately, so, it's pretty low on the list. It's just sort of, whenever. So. Okay, so the next one is American Moonshot, John F. Kennedy and the Great Space Race, which is by Douglas Brinkley. This is a little playaway that I got, or rather the version that I have read some of is a little playaway that I got from the library. And it was very interesting. I've been enjoying it. I was enjoying it. But, you know, it got returned to the library. So at some point I am going to pick it up again, and I'm going to read it. But probably not anytime soon. And then the next one is The Antagonist, Book 1 by Burgundy Rocosa. That one's just me not being able to read. And so this is it's a book that I got forever ago as, like, an ebook, and then never got into because I'm really bad at reading ebooks. So, but it's like a superhero thing where one of the characters is a wheelchair user. I don't remember a lot of the details of this. I started it forever ago. But I believe it is also on Voices, because I believe that's how I found it. Like, I found it on, like, Tumblr, like, someone was, like, wrote this book because they wanted, like, representation in the superhero genre, and then ended up writing a book, or it's now a series of books, and then self-publishing on Amazon, I believe. And so I'm going to get to that eventually. I just need to get to it. And then the last one that I have is Modern Scholar, The Giants of Irish Literature, Wilde, Yeats, Joyce, and Beckett by George O'Brien. And, you know, it's a little playaway that I got from the library and had to return and haven't come back to, but I'm still definitely going to read. And so with all of my DNFs out of the way, that brings me to these 5 books from my bookshelf that I want to read. So really the only rule that I have for this is they can be rereads, but if they are a reread, I cannot have read or reread it recently. So, like, Bloodhound is not an option. The Tyrant's Tomb is not an option. So, that brings me to the 5 that I have chosen, and I'm just going to go down the pile and show you. So this one is a reread. This is The Quilt Trilogy, A Stitch in Time by Ann Rinaldi. It's a book about, it's a series about, I believe 3 different generations of women in 19th century America who make this quilt. And I picked this up from the library sale at my middle school. And I haven't reread it since middle school, but I do remember really liking it, and I do really like historical fiction, which is, you know, the kind of history that I really like is about, like, people. And so that is going to be the first book that I have on this list. And next, I have Daughters of Blood by Anne Bishop. This is a book that I picked up also at a library sale, but one more recently, and so I have not read this one, but it's a fantasy book. I don't know much else, and I'm excited for it. So next I have Countersexual Manifesto by Paul B. Preciado. This is like an essay type book, I believe. I don't know much about it. I bought it in DC while I was super drunk. But it looks interesting, so I'm gonna read it, and I'm going to see what it's like. So next I have Desire and Domestic Fiction, A Political History of the Novel by Nancy Armstrong, which is essentially how romance and the writings of middle-class women in the mostly the 19th and but also early 20th century is part of how the modern novel came to be, and it looked interesting, so I picked it up at a library book sale, and now I'm gonna read it. And then lastly, I have Ethelred the Unready by Levi Roach, which is about, I believe, the last Anglo-Saxon king of England. I believe it was just of England at the time. Perhaps of Wales too. I'm not certain. Yes, I picked this up at a library book sale, and it looks interesting, and so I'm gonna read it, and that's what a lot of these books are. But really, I actually don't know a lot about this sort of era of history, because, you know, we focus a lot on ancient history, like the Romans, within the sort of European. We focus a lot on ancient history with like the Greeks and the Romans, and then we focus a lot on more modern history and like the Renaissance and then modern history. And so this is sort of a period that I feel gets left out a lot, and that I don't actually know all that much about. So I'm really excited to learn some things about, I believe this would be 1st century. No, not 1st century. 10th, I think this is like 9th, 10th, 8th, 9th, 10th century, something like that. I should probably actually look it up. Yes, late 10th century, early 11th century. So, I'm really excited to learn more about this dude. and learn just what was up with his unreadiness. You know? So here are all of the books that I am going to read this year. This is, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 books, so that's nearly one for every month. And so, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you again soon. Bye.